And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what?
Good morning.
It is.
Thank you. The earlier segment will be extremely helpful for me. I am currently attempting to take my 30-year body of work that I've developed as a consultant and a trainer and move into the new technology and produce internet-based programs. And I'm having trouble choosing ease. I'm having trouble getting into the vortex. Now, I understand from the earlier segment and from my earlier studies of your teaching that I can get into the vortex with a different subject, and then that'll be easier, but I'm really feeling quite overwhelmed with the new technology.
Well, you know, you've made some really good points already that give us something really powerful to reflect back to you, and because you're doing what a lot of people do. You have this objective that you want to achieve, so you want to get into the vortex in order to achieve the objective.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work the process and I'll get into the vortex so that I can get my internet consulting business up and running. And we say, you're going about it in a backwards way. Then you said, I'm having trouble getting into the vortex. And we want to say to you, that's because you're trying to use something that isn't working as your reason for getting into the vortex. You see what it's like people always start with the hardest thing. They have an issue or a big reason, and literally what that means is they say, let me take the thing that matters most and therefore the thing that I have the biggest wad of resistance about, and I'll use this as my entry into the vortex. And it's further complicated because it's the whole reason I want to be in the vortex anyway. So what you want to do to get the cart instead of the cart before the horse, to get the horse before the cart, you want to get into the vortex, and you want to get into the vortex. Why? Because you want to be in the vortex. I want to be in the vortex because I want to be in the vortex. Well, why? Because I belong in the vortex. Well, why? Because everything I want is in the vortex. Well, but really, why do you want to be in the vortex? Because it's unnatural not to be in the vortex. But really, why do you want to be in the vortex? Because it's the now reality. It's the furthest most expansion that is me. But can you feel the difference when you say, I need to get into the vortex in order to accomplish this thing that is overwhelming me and confusing me? You just can't get there from there.
Mm-hmm.
So we would say, forget about that. In other words, do you acknowledge, we've been talking about it all day here today and way before that. Do you acknowledge that everything that you want relative to your business, you have already put into the vortex?
Yes.
Now, you just don't know the how, the where, the when, the who. You don't have those details. And because you don't know them, it's overwhelming and it feels very complicated. Mm-hmm. But you know what you want, and you've been putting it there for so long. It's already there, and it's already, the cooperative components are already there. So really, all you have to do is get in there. So we're going to give you something here to give you a different way of looking at this. You don't know, this is the difference between, this is really good. We'll just enjoy it all to ourselves for a while here. So. The difference between this vortex, which we're calling the vibrational reality, and your reality, is that the reality as it exists, your current bank account, the current people that you're working with or living with, your current reality, the current reality, you can decipher it or perceive it through your physical senses. And that's satisfying to you because you've trained yourself to see and to hear and to smell and taste and touch. So you're sort of hooked on physical stuff. You're hooked on that tactile, visual, auditory world. And you're so hooked on it that you think it's the only reality that exists. So now you want to improve that reality, but this is the thing that trips you up. You cannot improve this reality by looking at this reality as it is. Because the reality as it is just keeps you perpetuating it as it is. That's why it just gets more and more confusing. So you have to accept this vibrational reality that you've already created, and then you have to let loose of looking at this reality in order to allow this reality to become dominant in your vibration, because you can't have it both ways. You can't stand still and move on at the same time. And so we say things to you to try to get your attention, to sort of jolt you into this new way of looking at it, that this vortex of creation, this vibrational reality is present tense. And this reality that you call reality, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it, that reality is old news. It's old news. That's you have to keep expanding or you don't feel good. So as we said to the woman who said, my lover left and now I'm sad, and we said, no, you're not. You said, I'm having a hard time getting into the vortex, or I'm having a hard time envisioning getting my internet business off the ground, and I'm feeling overwhelmed and confused. And we say, no, you're not. Well, you are feeling overwhelmed and confused, but that's not why. The reason is because you are needing to see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it before you will let yourself relax. You need the guidance, and you need to understand the internet, and you need the people to help you with the search engines, and you need to get all your ducks in a row, and you need to all that stuff that you don't know how to do. And what we want, this is the part that is so good, that we so want you to hear, is that the physical reality doesn't amount to much if you can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. That's why you want it to manifest, so that not only can you see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, but others can look at it and compliment you on what you've done. In other words, we get why this reality is something that you're seeking. But if you can take this little piece that we're going to give you, that this vibrational reality, while you can't see it yet because you're not in there, and you can't smell it or hear it or taste it, you can feel it. You can feel the satisfaction of a business that is benefiting people. You can feel that. So if it is satisfying enough for you to feel it, then you don't use what you don't know as your excuse to hold yourself out of the vortex. So what you do is you use the ability that you have to focus to feel your way in there. You say things. Jerry and Esther have been constructing a house in Texas for a long time. Jerry originally started it because there were these construction people that he adores, and he wanted work for them. So he just kept building another building that they didn't need, so that this team that he adores will have something to do. But now the house is in the final stages, and they're going to see it last time they saw it was studs. They've seen pictures of it, but it's been in the process of coming together. And Esther said, I'm getting very excited because in 2 days we get to walk into that house. And Jerry said, I'm now ready to let myself get excited. He didn't want to think about something that he was nowhere near, because he didn't want the uncomfortable feeling of longing. And there's something really powerful in that understanding. In other words, you want to use your mind in a way that keeps you in balance. In other words, you don't want to get so detailed about a business that you can't figure out what to do, that you make yourself anxious. You want to just think about it in ways that keep you feeling good. You see what we're getting at?
Yes.
And so that's why we say, and we said to our friend earlier, your singular intent must be, I want to be in the vortex. And the way you get into the vortex is by feeling your way in. And if you demand that you see your way in, the vortex won't accept you, because there are too many unseen things. If you insist that you have all the facts before you get into the vortex, you're not ever going to get in on that subject. So what did we just say? Get in the vortex is what matters. And the reason you want to be in is why? Because you want to feel. You want to feel what you've put there. So what have you put there? I can feel a very beneficial project has come to fruition in my vortex. I can feel value for others. I can feel something that as it begins to unfold in manifestation, it will be really satisfying for me. I can feel satisfaction about this. I can feel real pride and even ownership about what I've put there. I can feel all of that. I feel enthusiasm about where it will lead. I can feel the bigness of it and its potential still to expand. I can feel all of that. So what we're really saying to you is, if you can satisfy yourself by doing the only thing with the vortex that you can do. These are blunt words. Hear them. You can't see what's in the vortex until you're in there. Now, once you're in there on a subject and you hang around in there for a while and you get up to speed with what's in there, then all kinds of manifestations will start appearing. You'll meet someone and you'll know right away that they are a key to you, and you'll listen to them and they'll be so clear in what they say that you'll understand. But most of all, your feeling of I want you will be so powerful that you'll know that they are a perfect vibrational match to the intentions that you've put there. You'll feel no resistance about it. You see what we're getting to?
Yes.
So just keep thinking, I want to get my horse before my cart, which means I want to be in the vortex before I act, which means I want to be in the vortex because that's who I am, which means I have to feel my way there in, which means I must not ask the questions of when is it going to come and who's going to bring it and how's it going to unfold and I can't ask those questions to which I don't have answers and get in the vortex. The vortex will keep throwing me out. I have to ask the question that the vortex can immediately answer. We've not said that well before. I must ask of myself the question. I must ask of the vortex what the vortex can do in the initial stage. Later on, the vortex can give you the full, vivid description of it. The vortex will give you impulses and inspiration of exactly what to do and where to go and what to say when you get there. In other words, oh, this vortex is powerful, but you've got to. So what are we talking about? Let's coin a phrase for it. What is my entry pass into the vortex? What's my entry pass into my vortex? And what it is the way I'm going to feel my way in. That's my entry path. Once I get in there, then I can start looking around. I can start asking for visions. It'll flesh out in many, many ways. But initially, I just got to feel my way in. So I'm going for the harmony. I'm going for the confidence. I'm going in for the feeling of lightheartedness. I'm going for the feeling of it. Because the feeling of it, if you're reaching for a feeling that's already there, you just can't say, I want to feel good. I want to feel sure, without eventually finding the vibration that allows that. But if you say, I want to see the money, I want to see the person, I want to see the process, I want to see the people, I want to see the building that will house my server, I want to sign the contracts of, then
it's too complex.
Out you go. But all that is already
in there,
assembled.
Yeah.
It's already assembled. So when we talk about your entry pass into the vortex, we're talking about your entry pass, because you, not just you, but the vortex has already assembled all the cooperative components. You're just the holdout. Mm-hmm. So if you will seek your entry pass, which is the emotion, now you're no longer a holdout. Now you're a cooperative component. And once you get the hang of it in there, it's sort of like being born. As you're born here, it takes you a little while to get your bearings. And when you get into your vortex on these specific subjects, it takes you a little while to get your bearings, but you will, and you will get them fast. So that was a very good discussion. What is my initial, simplest, easiest entry pass into the vortex? Going to feel my way in. Going to feel my way in.
Okay.